How's it going, YouTube? It's Panda Time. In this video we have myself playing Leomon Rush once again. This time going up against Imperial. I think the Leomon deck is really cool. I know you guys want to see more of it, so I definitely want to show more games. I also have some other players that are also playing different variants of Leomon, so we might get to see more of that in the future. We're going to start with a rookie and then Jerry into the very nice, very good looking, very buff Leomon, which I would say is a pretty solid start. I also like Jerry, you know, her second effect is pretty good. When your opponent Digimon swings, you can just tap her and draw a card. It's like very generic and just very always relevant. So good, right? I'm a big fan. Opponent's gonna go into a Lydramon instead of a Davis, so I would say definitely a pretty solid turn as well. Leomon's gonna swing into a Megadeth, which is gonna suspend the Gabumon and bounce back to Leomon, which is actually a fantastic answer to my board, right? It negates the Leomon Unleashment effect, and then neutralizes my rookie from being able to swing. I think that a lot of times when people check into Megadeth, they don't realize that like you can suspend and bounce, right? Like you don't have to choose the same targets for the Digimon. So a great response. We're going to Digivolve into the Leomon, I think just to like be annoying, and then hard play another Leomon. Now Imperial could Jogress and then send Leomon to the bottom of the deck to once again negate the Undulation effect. So it definitely has good answers to it. Sometimes the Leomon just doesn't shine as much as you would like it to, right? Gonna swing with the Lydramon, get that card draw, but then we could tap the Jerry and get that card draw ourselves. It's a Kumamon in security, very cool, very nice bear. And then, lucky for us, he does not have the Peldramon, which would be a solid punish. I think he was definitely trying to draw it, swinging with the Lydramon. Gonna just be playing a Beamon, but I mean, it is able to memory choke me to 1, so I would say still a pretty solid turn all around. We can use our Leomons to answer the Lydramon at the very least. But I don't have a memory fixer just yet. So we're going to crash. He gets to armor pressure and survive. Now the other Leomon gets buffed from the Shaman, so this one can, you know, swing over at 6k. We're gonna go into a Lobo and then Beowulf to get that Stingmon off the board. Don't like Stingmon around here. And then probably set up a Tamer, right? Seems like it's the most likely way to set up for game next turn. Gonna go Hammer Spark and TK. Now we've talked a lot about this in the past, how using the Hammer Spark like that is not the greatest use. However, what you have to realize is that every game is different and every situation is unique, right? So in a case like this, I'm pretty sure I had like 2 Hammer Sparks in hand, and I figured like Imperial is a scary deck and I don't want to give him anything to work with because we can likely win the game next turn. So although I still stand by, you want to use Hammer Spark to extend your plays rather than deny. You know, there is a time and a place for everything. Gonna go once again into a Lydramon in the back and then play another Beamon to get his searches. But you can see how like our opponent didn't open EXB and then he didn't have the Peldramon, right? And then like his deck is infinitely worse, obviously, right? Now we could just swing and we have Korikaku for game. But what I meant to say about that is that like Imperial is a very powerful deck, probably the strongest deck overall. But like think about it, like Peldramon is a 4-off, right? Of course, and so is next Beamon. Like you probably don't open these cards most games, although it always feels like you're playing against them and they do, right? That's just the way the game works. But like what happens when you don't have those 2 cards? We're gonna once again go with a Jerry, summoning the Leomon, pretty buff. I like the Leomon alt art, it's fantastic, but the regular art also goes super hard, so I'm also a fan. They just did such a good job with Leomon all around. He's gonna once again set up a Davis and a Beamon, so again a pretty solid start. We haven't seen the EX Beamon just yet, right? So definitely not that like insane start, but he's got reasonable starts in Rookie and Tamer. Can be hard playing a Stingmon. Our Leomon can swing, he dies, we get memory and card draw, which is very useful. If possible, we'd like to get that Stingmon off the board. Might be doing the blue memory boost to try and pick up a like a Beowulf, for example, maybe. Gonna do the classic rarity swap on the Jerrys. Don't call judge on me. Gonna just Digivolve into a Lobo. Don't want to use my Jerry just yet though, the effect is still relevant. If that was a Leomon, we'd get extra memory to work with. Sadly, it was not. And then just gonna go into a Stravi to pass the turn. Bottom deck in Leomon. The Stravi feels nice because we play a good amount of Tamers and Hybrids, but it does feel really bad when you are bottom decking the when you bottom deck the Leomons. He does have the EX Beamon this time around. He can swing into security. He already has the Stingmon in play. does hit into a Sworjo, which is relevant for sure, but is going to be able to go into the Paildramon. This time around he does have the full combo basically. Gets to bottom deck the Stravi, and then swing twice at security with Jammin'. So he swings into a Jerry, and the Jerry's going to let me summon another Leomon. Now this is really interesting because he can swing again, but if he swings again we can block with the Leomon, gain 2 memory and pass turn, right, which would put us in a decent spot. We'd also get quite a bit of card draw from the Jerry as well, and the Leomon, right? It's like a pretty solid play, and we have memory boost to work with and multiple tamers. So because of that, he might not take this swing, right? And that's like what's good about Leomon, is that it forces your opponent into these very awkward situations. He is going to hit a potential, which is very powerful as always. Being able to Digivolve into the fighter for free, bouncing the Leomon out of here. Now he doesn't have the dual tamer to restand, but I'd say that's still a pretty solid play all around, right? And then does set up the dual tamer, so that next turn he's going to have 5 memory to work with, fighter mode to swing twice. I'd say very, very powerful stuff all around. We're going to have to rebuild again, just use another blue memory, picking up the Korikaku. At this point I think we're just trying to set up some sort of hybrid lethal, so I just want to get as much memory as possible and as many hybrids as we can. Anything I play in the front is going to get cleared, so there's no point. We're going to just build the Leomon in the back, which is another way for me to guarantee memory for the next turn, right? He does have multiple memory to work with, and 2 swings with fighter mode. The Imperial might run a hybrid, right? You might see like the one Lobo, but it's unlikely he would have 2, right? So I still feel relatively safe, I would say. We're gonna tap our Jerry's, get that sweet, sweet card draw. And by then, like, we'd ideally have enough Hammer Sparks and hybrids to be able to close the game out, right? I definitely like the Jerry because of that. Gets to swing again, it's an Ice Wall. We get to steal 2 memory, which feels pretty solid. At this point, I'm pretty confident we won't die next turn. If he Ice Walls me, then we wouldn't be able to close the game out. So that's pretty scary, he might be digging for it. And if we can't close the game out, then surely he would win the next turn, right? But you saw how the Leomon was able to be super annoying, and the Jerry was able to give me some good card draw. Hitting Jerry in security once you have the Leomon in hand just feels so nice, it's such a big swing. This time around he did have the EX-Beamon and the Paildramon, which put in work as always. But the nice thing about the Leomon deck is that like we are also pretty aggressive, right? I do consider it like a rush deck, so we're able to sort of match them speed-wise. Gets another Beamon just to get this set up, no Ice Wall. We get extra memory from the Sworjo as well, so we have 4 to work with, double memory boost, 3 tamers. Leomon's gonna swing. He is not gonna die because of the Shaman making it a 5k, which is unfortunate, but we have enough memory that it should not be a problem. Although you never know what could be in security. Korikaku does not stun there. We can go into a Beowulf to recycle our hybrid. Another survive, go into another Korikaku, pop the memory in case there was a Hammer Spark, and then once again we have hybrid for game. I hope you guys enjoyed the Leomon game. Really, really cool deck. Definitely try it out. Thank you guys so much for watching.